So we're back here on another Couch Coach Live. We had on a different time tonight. It's a Friday night edition of Couch Coach Live. And main reason why we're here because of the simple fact of, hey, the schedule release of the NFL was released yesterday. This is a moment where you can plan out the rest of your year. If you're a guy like me that enjoys the game and that's concerned. But yeah, we got our special guest. Well, let me bring in first Maui back in. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Not much. And then our guest, we got our guy Gabe. What's going on, Gabe?
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Yes,
good, man.
Everything's good, and yeah, man, definitely appreciate you for coming on a special edition of Couch Coach Live tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hey, no problem. So we got a great show lined up for you tonight. We kind of talked about it a little earlier. We're here on a special time because obviously the schedule was released. So, had given some time to kind of breathe, as far as let the schedule release and just see how everything plays out. But great show lined up. So before we get started with talk about the schedule release, we definitely got to give a huge shout out to the good folks at Goalie. Head over to Goalie, use the promo code CouchCoach to get yourself 10% off. And the next thing we want to talk about, what's going on? Our guy Jason, what's going on? Another Niner guy is for your game. Another Niner game, and we'll talk about our Christmas Eve matchup in San
Yes.
Man. I was like, no.
Can't wait to get to that one.
I was like, no, it's too late now to go to Santa Clara.
I know, right? Christmas, man. If it was in Maryland or something like that, I would have made the trip. I mean, that is my Christmas right there.
But yeah, man, we definitely. So before we get started talking about the schedule, we definitely got to talk about one of the news story. Yes, indeed. You already know. We got to talk about Tom Brady, man. So Tom Brady. Obviously, Tom Brady will be once he retires from the game. I don't know when that's going to happen. It could be at this point a matter of time. He'll be signed on to be the lead color commentator for Fox. Reportedly, a 10-year, $375 million deal. So obviously, Troy Aikman, when he woke up last week, he was the highest broadcaster. As far as getting $18 million from ESPN, but Tom Brady said, pretty much hold my bill. I'm getting a 10-year, $375 million contract. I'm going to go with you first, Gabe. Your thoughts on Tom Brady signing with Fox?
Well, I mean, this is something Fox needed to do. I mean, let's look at it. They lost their A team of 20 plus years, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who moved on to and they're going to be doing Monday Night Football. This Fox had to make a splash. I mean, right. So that's I think that's why they had to do this. But I mean, Brady's almost like a military guy. I mean, think about it. He goes off the duty, and then next thing you know, once he's finished, his duties, then he comes back and has a job lined up for him. I mean, that's almost like guys in the military. But I just think that it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, how he sounds. I mean, hopefully he doesn't sound like Romo. I mean, he just brings his own style to the broadcast booth. I mean, because like I said, he has shown a sense of humor. I mean, not like Peyton Manning, whose personality is really out there. But I wouldn't be surprised that if Brady is successful, which I think he will be, Peyton Manning is gonna be thinking, how can I one up Tom Brady? Because I've been able to do that playing. I mean, I can do this in the broadcast booth. So he's gonna be looking to maybe score a big deal on one of these networks in the future.
Your thoughts, Maui? What you got?
Man, I mean, I'm happy for him. Like, you think about where he comes from, where they didn't even think he was going to be the player that he is. And now he's like got one of the best stories, man, because from where he drafted at the Combine, look, you know what I'm saying, how he was able to be the GOAT in the Pats, and then he was able to go to the Bucks. and made them a special franchise now also. And then to be able to, like, who would have ever thought of a guy like you could put in the same category as a Tiger Woods, Jordan, or somebody like that is actually going to be commentating or an anchor, you know what I mean, on TV. So everybody's going to be watching that. And the people that I was watching today, they were excited because it gives them something to talk about. You know what I mean? He was like, man, I'm going to have 4 or 5 different stories based upon this. So the excitement is there, but also this is the best time to do it because they, pro athletes being in the position that he's in is actually, they got more freedom to speak. You know what I mean? And be able to give their take onto things where back in the day it was an issue. So I'm happy for him, man. I like anybody, man, that's able to find to be able to come from one spot to go to the other. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, it definitely huge shout out to Jason to see what he got here. So I think Brady will do a good job, but $35.5 million is ridiculous. But you're right. Fox was desperate, but all that money, guess he's still cool being away from his family to mature the football season.
Well, yeah. I think that also, let me pick about on that. I think that I'm thinking about his wife because, that was an issue. You know what I mean? Him coming back. And I'm sure him signing this gave her, at least he's going to have something back, be able to fall back on unnecessarily. He ain't just going to be around the house. It's hard in retirement, man, to see guys just leave from something and be able to just being around the house. That's not always a good thing.
Yeah. I think, like you said, and almost to your point, Gabe, where Fox got desperate because now you're looking at and we'll talk about the schedule release. You got to think to yourself like, hey, we'll talk about the primetime games, and we talk about all these primetime guys in these matchup teams as far as broadcasting teams are legendary. So like you said, Troy, Joe Buck now is at ESPN, and like you said, that was your guys for 21 years, and they're gone now. Kevin Burkhart is your lead guy, and who he's going to be paired with. Now we know he's probably more likely to be paired with Tom Brady. Right. I think, like you said, the money is probably because of what he negotiated, and then probably what's going to end up ultimately happening is obviously. I would go on assumption that a new TV deal will be happening soon in the next few years, and Tom Brady probably will be at Fox at that current time, which we might look at 37.5. It's like nothing in a few years. Maybe when a new TV deal comes up, but like you said, this will come up in conversations when it's time for Super Bowls. When the TV deals come along, because like we talk about a lot of them now as well too, where ESPN's got to find a way to get a broadcasting team because we knew like Steve, no, there's no offense, because even like Steve Levy, Greasy, and Louis Riddick, they're great in their own regard, but they're not going to command that attention when it comes to the table. Like, oh, we want to host a Super Bowl. But y'all got Steve Levy, and then even when they had Booger and Sean McDonough and all those guys, they've been scraping ever since Gruden and Mike Tirico's been going. So they've been kind of searching for that kind of A team, like as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I love the move by Fox because, like you said, now you can say, hey, I got Tom Brady as my lead guy. I can compete. So when it's time to come to that table, when it comes to free bargaining, these TV deals, they're going to get a piece of the pie. So, and now, because we always said ESPN goal is probably more likely is going to host Super Bowl one of these days, and it'll probably, be, partner with ABC. So, and I think that's kind of one of the major moves why Troy and Joe is at ESPN. So this is another one I think is another thing that Fox had to do, because who else in essence could replace Joe and Troy?
Right.
So at this place, so it's almost like you said, it's desperate, but it's almost like it's like the shot in the dark and it went through. So they had to do it. Like you said, if they want to compete for these other, for the rights, stuff like this.
A game of poker. I think they just, raised some money up. Like, okay, y'all got that, but I got this. You know what I mean? And we'll see. I hope it ain't a dud. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We'll see.
Well, I mean, there's a dud. I mean, that's $37.5 million a year flushed down the drain. I mean, that's something that Fox is going to have to eat if Tom Brady turns out to be, a bust.
Yeah.
I mean, in this case. So, I mean,
and I don't mean to be rude. I seen him on the shop, and he was saying how he envied his wife because she could her mind, he thinks before he speaks a lot. You know what I mean? And you remember, what I'm saying? And he was like, he just envied his wife because she just comes up with something so quick. Yeah. So even then he was trying to express himself a certain way. So when I heard this happen, I was like, okay, well, maybe he's trying to conquer fear and he's going to get paid $37.5 million a year to conquer that fear.
Yeah. And I'm cool. I know, like people said, the time, the price of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because even we looked at Tony Romo getting 17. Now, Troy getting 18. So it's almost like whoever's coming up next. This is a huge leap. Like I was thinking maybe potentially like 20 million, but he's really, that's between 18 and 37. That's double what Troy Aikman makes. I mean, and he's the highest one, the highest commentator in the league thus far. So. And like you said, to your point, Maui, where this gives guys opportunities at the football, not saying that you're going to get $37 million. Because even in this deal, Tom Brady, I think if the math is correct, with this deal with Fox in 10 years, he would have made more money than he's ever made in the NFL. And he's been there for 20 plus years.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. Maybe that's why they gave him the deal. Wow.
With that, he'll catch up to his wife. I mean, he'll catch up with Giselle because Giselle's way more than he is.
Wow.
So, right now. Right. So this deal might catch him up to her. As far as net worth.
Mm-hmm.
And it could potentially expedite the process too. And I think that's why Fox had to do it this way, because I look at it almost like, not say prorated, but like I think. If you think that, like I said, like in a few years, this may not be a big deal because I think the money, those contracts are going to be like, they're going to be through the roof. Like as far as when it's time to negotiate. And then, like you said, this could entice Brady to retire, as early as this year. Like,
right. I'm really thinking that.
Right. And I think that's why they had this kind of, that's sweeten the pot for him because, hey, if you have this same issue next year where, hey, February 1st, I want to retire, then I want to come back March the 13th, I got a $37 million contract for Fox. So like we talked about it. Yeah, we talked about.
I know who upset about this. You know who upset about this? Brett Favre is really upset about this. He said, "How come y'all ain't treat me that way?" Hey. What's going on?
He got some stuff to him though.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why but he still made some money, man. He was like the face of Copperfit and like Wrangler jeans. Like, ooh,
okay, quick question, fellas. If you was Copperfield,
yeah.
Let me breathe. Okay. Let me ask you, if you were Fox, do you think they made the right deal by doing the way they set it up?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they did. I think so.
Me too.
Yeah, because I'm really curious who's going to be teamed up with Burkhart this year, because Burkhart could be the Joe Buck of Fox at this point. So I wonder who was going to be that lead play-by-play guy. The lead with Burkhart. So that's going to be interesting. Like,
yeah, so that's too bad. Charles Davis is still not at Fox. I enjoy Charles Davis.
Yeah, because he's at CBS now, right?
He's at CBS now.
Yeah,
that would have been a good pair up. I mean, because I love listening to Charles Davis analysis.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, because I like him, and I know we. I think when we be playing like the AFC opponents, I think he called 2 of our games last year. So yeah, Charles Davis. Yeah, Charles Davis is good. But I was just wondering, like, as far as who would be at Fox for this year. And like you said, this is where he's a placeholder. Let's just lock him into this deal.
Right.
And let the chips fall as they may. So
we're not even going. I wonder when they approached Fox, he probably was like, "Really? Oh, y'all have y'all talked to anybody else? Nah, y'all not leaving this. Put y'all phones down. Y'all not leaving this office. let's go ahead and negotiate right now." Don't you what you want to eat? You like gizzards? I'm just kidding. I took it too far.
Yeah, and like people don't necessarily pay attention to the broadcast, but people like names. It's the name brand where
it's the name. Yeah.
I think when it's gonna be attractive when it comes to when it's time to renegotiate these TV deals. Hey, I want a Super Bowl. Fox, I got Tom Brady.
Right.
Y'all love Tom Brady, and I think that's where that kind of comes into because it's great broadcasters that,
right,
like I said, especially with Fox. I mean, Fox got a bevy of them. I like because obviously with being here where we get like the JV, we get a JV commentating team, but they still great. I mean, you look at
right.
I don't say no names because like that's not to be disrespectful, but more so, hey, they're good commentators, but they just they're at a Washington versus versus Chicago matchup or that type of magnitude. So I definitely gonna be interesting down the line as far as these broadcast teams and as to that. So we got to talk about the NFL schedule release. Like we said, this is kind of even when I was on your show 2 weeks ago, Gabe, recapping the NFL draft. This is kind of one of the things we was looking forward to, and now this happened. So, and this is just in general, and I know how I'm gonna do this. It's probably more so of games of my team that's probably not going to be prime time. So this would be where we'll discuss about the top games that you're looking forward to watch. I'm gonna go with you first, Gabe. What are your top games that you're looking forward to watch this year?
Well, I mean, you got to start off with the first game of the season. I mean, the Bills versus the Rams. I mean, you have a team that's a Super Bowl contender. I mean, that a lot of commentators on TV and radio are picking the Buffalo Bills to make it to the Super Bowl this year. So now they're going to get their first test against, the defending world champions, the LA Rams, who some people believe has a chance to repeat again this season. So we get that first test to see what the Buffalo Bills of 2022 is made of. So I think that's the first game I'm looking forward to. Now the second game I'm actually looking forward to is week two. I mean, the Chiefs versus the Chargers. I mean, think about it. This is the first NFL game that's going to be on Amazon Prime. And here's the thing that's intriguing to me about this matchup, we're going to see if money was really well spent for the LA Chargers. What I mean by that? I mean, in free agency, they spent a lot on defense. I mean, and the reason they spent that money on defense is for the Kansas City Chiefs to stop Patrick Mahomes and win and beat the Chiefs. I mean, they traded for Khalil Mack. They team up with Joey Bosa. They signed J.C. Jackson from the Patriots to boost up their secondary with Asante Samuels Jr., Derwin James. So, I mean, there's no excuses now for Brandon Stokely, the coach, to keep going for it on fourth down and keep saying, well, I mean, we got to score points. I mean, yeah, you're not going to score on every drive, but you need a defense. You have a defense now that can that should be able to get teams off the field. So that way your offense doesn't have to be under pressure to go for it on fourth down. I mean, you can't ask Justin Herbert to go for it on fourth down every time because you have a bad defense. Now you have a good defense, so there's no excuses no more. Yeah. And I think another matchup, week 6, Chiefs and Bills, the rematch from last year's AFC divisional game, which of course Josh Allen didn't see the ball, so now they changed the rules for the playoffs. So now everybody can get the ball, even if you score a touchdown. So that's going to be a good matchup. I mean, of course, if it goes in overtime this time and nobody scores, then it ends in a tie. So hopefully that's not going to happen. And then I'm going to have to go with my team, the 49ers and the Rams, week 4. And the reason for that is this is going to be Trey Lance. Trey Lance is going to be the starting quarterback. Yes. Jimmy's not going to be on the roster. Just let me put that out there right now. He's not going to be on the roster.
Sure.
So, I mean, this will be Trey Lance's second divisional game, because the first game is going to be the Seahawks in week 2. And, we've owned the Rams in the regular season. Of course, we didn't own them when it counted the most, which was in the NFC Championship game. So this is going to be another, a big test for Trey Lance. I mean, as quarterback of the Niners. And then another game I have several, but I'm just going through no in particular order. Week 5, you got the Bills and the Ravens. Now, of course, we have the young guns going at it, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. And we're going to see if the Ravens draft picks, which they spent mostly on defense, let's see if that pays off, because they're going to need them against this potent offense with Josh Allen at quarterback. And then I like week 16. You got the Chargers and the Colts, which I mean that's gonna be which is gonna be an interesting matchup. You got the veteran Matt Ryan versus the upstart and Justin Herbert. And speaking of that, another good matchup I think will be the Colts and the Broncos, and another game that's gonna be on Amazon Prime, and because we're gonna see Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan in different uniforms. I mean, who would have thought of that? Yeah. I mean, and of course, both teams are going to be well improved. But of course, I'm going to end it with this one. You got to go with the Seahawks and the Broncos, Monday Night Football. Russell Wilson's return to Seattle. But here's another thing I'm going to add that nobody's probably going to be talking about. And I understand, and you can understand why, because let's be honest, if Drew Lock is the starting quarterback, he's going to be playing against the team that drafted him. Now, I know that's nothing to talk about, because Drew Lock didn't pan out in Denver. And who's to say he's going to pan out in Seattle? But don't be surprised if he's motivated by the fact that, hey, this team gave up on me. So there's something to look for, just something to pay attention to.
Right.
Yeah. Any matchups that stick out to you?
Yeah, I got a couple of them, man. I'm gonna go through them. I got week 3, the Bucs versus the Packs. I felt like Tom Brady should have won MVP last year, and he didn't. And I want to see if Aaron Rodgers somehow can figure it out, if he can still be dominant as he should be. I really don't think so, but that's me. I wanna let me see. I'm gonna skip around. Let me go week 9, Rams versus the Bucs. Do I even have to explain? Of course, we already know what that is. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the NFL did a really good job. I looked at this, I was like, wow. Yeah. Storylines galore, marketing genius all around. Now I understand why they told Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, no, come back, because the storylines of these these dominant quarterbacks and you legends, and then we're going to take some other superstar quarterbacks and we're going to mix them around, and then we're going to get a Commanders Wentz. But still, sorry. No, I'm just joking. But I'm just saying, like week 6, Bills versus the Chiefs. And then I threw this in there, Bills versus the Bengals. I feel like the Bills is, a top AFC team. I feel, the Bengals went where? To the Super Bowl. So I want to see because the Bills have been there. I think the Bengals took the Bills' spot last year. I guess you could say it some type of way. You know what I mean? Because the Bills should have been there a couple years ago, but for some reason they choke it up for the last few years. And I just feel like that's going to be an important game. Let's see. Let's see if you go say, no, I was supposed to be there and you ain't going to be there no more. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that. So those are my top games.
Yeah, it was a couple of games, like in mass more so. This part is gonna be more so like the bias part of me. But like I think obviously the
Of
opening game, I
course.
think with the Bills, the Bills and the Rams, I think that one is like I think we couldn't get a better matchup in week one of
Mhm.
NFL season. I think that's definitely I look at that like you said, this could be a potential Super Bowl preview. Could be a situation we might see these teams in Arizona potentially in February
Right.
of 2023. Also some other good games. Obviously, it's weird. Like you said, the return of Russell Wilson back to Seattle in week one, which is just like you think to yourself, like, how crazy is that? Like it's one of the things where okay, you can get it over with, but damn, your first game, like what I'm
Oh,
saying,
right.
like your first ever game is going to be on the road against your former team that you've been there for
Right.
10 years. I think
Right.
that's going to definitely be a very interesting, like to even start off with Monday Night Football. I definitely thought that was, like you said, it's just one of those things where I look at that as a great matchup. And then Washington versus Philly, Monday Night Football,
I was
November
gonna put that
14th.
down here. I'm happy you put that down. I really want to get your take
Yeah,
on that. Seriously.
Carson Wentz returns. I definitely think that's going to be a definitely interesting matchup, and just curious of where Washington would be at that point in the season. And it's weird. It's crazy just how the schedule is. So, and then also Gabe. Also, I'm actually looking forward to this game. This is what week 16, I think. Yeah, we got y'all on Christmas Eve in Santa Clara. I think that's going to be definitely another good game, which could potentially be a game that may have potential playoff implications. It just depends on how everything goes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
and not only that, I mean, you got to think Chase Young's going to be coming back this year. I mean, so,
yeah,
and of course, Nick Bosa's on the other side, and these guys were teammates in college. So,
Mhm.
one's going to try to one up the other. I mean, as far as, who's going to get the most sacks and, who's going to make the most plays. So, I mean, and of course, like you say, I mean, you got Carson Wentz, who, who beat us last year, when he was with the Colts. So,
in the
he
rain.
definitely got some payback there. And of course, like I
Yeah,
say, another game for this because after the bye week, I think this is where Trey Lance is going to grow as a quarterback
yeah,
because we got the bye week in week 9, then my Niners, and then all those mistakes I think are going to be done away with. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm looking for that. Like I said, too bad it wasn't in Maryland because
Right,
you're gonna meet up there and go see the game. So
right, and hopefully we'll play Santa Clara because last time we played Arizona, remember in 2020.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So you guys got a week 9 bye week. Oh, must be nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, last year the bye week we had was like in week 4. So I
Yeah.
mean, this is finally he get some time, and like I say, Trey Lance can go through some growing pains the first 8 weeks.
It must be nice. Do you want to know when our bye week is?
What is it?
It's in, yo, I still can't get over the fact that we got a bye week in week 14. I was pissed. I was
Wow.
like, why would you do that? Like, why is our bye week in the second week of December? Why? Like, seriously, like,
Most of your teams are
why?
gonna be beat up by the time the
Right.
season's
Like,
over.
right. So just like a part of me is just like, why? But the good thing about it though, I love about our schedule because we go to MetLife bye week and then we got the Giants at home after the bye week. So we really got them. We got 2 games within a 3-week period, which is good because hey, if we take it on the chin before the bye week, they give us 14 days to prepare for them.
Mm.
So, but that bye week, and then obviously we're at home and then we come to Santa Clara after that. And then, like you said, and I like it's so crazy because every team had their own schedule release. So then I'm looking at the schedule in the video and I'm thinking it's okay. November 20th we go to Houston, the 27th against Atlanta, December the 3rd December the 3rd or the 4th, whatever. It was December the 4th. We played the Giants, and I'm like, do we have a bad week yet? And then they had bad week 14. I'm like, no. Who wants a bad week in week 14?
That's crazy.
Are you serious? In an 18-week regular season, why we have a bad week 14 weeks in? Like, are you serious? Like, we're literally gonna be playing 3 months of football straight.
Teams will be beat up. Teams will be beat up, man. By the time you're after that bye week, just hope you don't suffer no major injuries.
And man, y'all be leading the division by that time.
And that's another thing too. Where it's just weird. It's just because yours is perfect, Gabe. Where your week 9, that it's really. Man, memory serves correct. That's the first week in November, so that's a perfect time. Hey, you go through it, and then hey, you get your 2 months. You endure it, and then you come back to the final 2 months. You come back. Obviously, you come back the second week of November, December, and then that first week of January. Versus, and I'm just like, and that's what I was like, and I agree with you, Jason. Like, it need to be at least a double bye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should have one, like, as far as in, like, it's like, I think might be a perfect example, like when you had a week 4 and then you had one like in week 14 or something like that,
right?
Like, or it should, or something of that nature, where at least you can kind of play it like that in a sense where, hey, you can get teams and get buys like that, because like that week 14, I seen that, I was like, because it did, like even to your point, Mal, if you're leading division, I don't want to take no bye week. Like, if I've got this momentum, why would I want to take a bye week in the second week of December? Like, and I'm rolling. I'm playing my best football, and I'm taking a bye week. You're gonna kill the momentum. Like, it's not funny. I'm pissed. I'm serious. Like,
that's crazy.
But I'm saying, like, are you like really week what? Like,
can I ask a favor? When is the Steelers bye week? I don't have a clue. I didn't even look.
I'll check. I'll pull up the Steelers schedule, but yeah,
I didn't even look it up.
And it's funny because I looked at the video and I'm all hyped, like, oh yeah, we going to Soldier Field on Thursday Night Football and all this type of stuff. Oh yeah, then I'm like, okay, when is our bye week? It's like schedule happened. Like, okay, we go to Indianapolis on October the 30th. Okay, then we got October the 30th. Then we got Kirk Cousins coming back November the 6th. Then I'm like, okay, let's see. Then we go to Philly on Monday night on the 14th. I'm thinking to myself, where's the bye week at? I'm thinking I missed it.
They trying to do whatever they can to get them Cowboys, to the the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. I was looking at their schedule. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's everybody in NFC East division is easy. Well, easy for now, but I think even with us, we got a tough out the gate. And there's another thing too. I'm sorry, I want just one more time. One thing I'm gonna vent about the schedule while I look up at the Steelers. Why do we got the Jaguars in week 1? I'm like, first of all, Carson Wentz, that's the reason why he in Washington, because he lost to Jacksonville. And now Doug Peterson, the head coach in Jacksonville. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you doing this?
So he can redeem himself. He can redeem himself because he's a commander.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'll put it this way: if he stinks it up, I mean, if he stinks it up, they might be calling for his head after week 1.
Exactly. What you got?
Think about that. I mean, if Jacksonville, snake bits him again, who knows? They might be calling for the backup.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hey,
after week 1.
Taylor Heineke or you want Sam Howell?
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think we play any West teams.
Oh, y'all got week 9 about week 2, man. That ain't fair.
Oh, nice.
Everybody want a week 9 bye week. Like
I said, man.
That's all you. That's what you
my
want.
team is great because, like I said, Trey Lance will be have all those whatever growing pains. He'll have it all done. I mean, in the first 8 weeks.
Right, it's smack dab in the middle. Like who? Like That's perfect. It's a perfect bye week. Like,
we don't play no West teams. We do everything Eastern.
Must be nice.
Mm.
Well, we only go we only go West once, so that's still good though. But still, I like what? But yeah, let me continue. Let me not digress from that point.
I'm happy that you being biased because I tried everything I could, to pick a game for y'all. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's 17 of them, and they all are gonna be great matchups.
You take it too far sometimes. I mean, come on, man.
I'm serious. We got some good
maybe
games,
maybe against the Eagles or the boys in y'all division, but come on, man, you do too much. Come on, Chris, be honest now.
Kirk Cousins coming home to FedEx on them, him and Kevin O'Connell. They coming home. Maybe that'd be our homecoming game potentially. I mean, not homecoming night in the sense like our JV opponent, but like the alumni game. I don't know when it be that time, but yeah. But anyway,
Kirk Cousins is not a commander.
As a member of the 2015 Washington Beep NFC champion team, so he will always be a part of this family that we call the Washington Commanders. He'll always be a
I got
part
you.
He's always woven in the fabric of this organization. So
you got problems.
Yeah.
Problems, bro.
Hey, man, it is what it is. So, like we talked about, Thursday night football has really stepped their game up. Obviously, like we said, I think that's another reason why I think it's imperative, like for Fox to do what they did, like because I thought we talked about was going to look earlier, kind of tied in. You got Kirk Herbstreit and the legendary Al Michaels calling games on Thursday night football. Any Thursday night football games stand out to you guys, fellas? I know we talked a little bit of them, but your thoughts on some Thursday night games? Don't go with your first, Gabe.
Well, I already mentioned one of them. Like I say, Chiefs and Chargers. It started off. And like I said, Colts and the Broncos week 5. I mean, like I say, Russell Wilson and Brett Ryan are going to be in different uniforms. So it ain't Atlanta versus Seattle no more. So that's going to be interesting. And then week 8, you got the Ravens versus the Buccaneers. I mean, when Tom Brady retired, one of the things or at least temporarily retired, he basically said, he even mentioned Lamar Jackson and told him, "You're up," as being the next big superstar. So now we're gonna see if Lamar Jackson takes that challenge against the GOAT Tom Brady about taking that next step of being that next superstar. Right. And then in week 13, we got the Bills and the Pats. Now this will be the first time that the Bills and the Pats actually meet. I mean, for the regular season. I mean, usually they meet like early in the season one time and other time late. But this will be the first time they actually meet for the first time this season. So it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, a couple of things. A, I mean, will the Pats be able to get revenge from getting blown out? I mean, in the wild card round. And B, let's see if Mac Jones takes that next step. I mean, as a second-year quarterback.
Right.
Pro bowler.
Because if this goes bad, for the Pats this year, I mean, they're gonna be talk about whether it's time for Bill Belichick to hang up.
Yeah, and hopefully there won't be no, what's on the field in this matchup, like in the playoff game.
You better stop playing with Bill. Bill likes to send text messages by mistakes.
Yeah.
Any Thursday night matchups?
Yeah. I mean, basically all of them. My man said, Gabe said, but I'm gonna put the Steelers versus the Browns. I think I think that's just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Not just even being biased. That should be that's gonna be interesting. And I put the Raiders. I'm gonna keep it short because he said some of the games that I said already, but I'm gonna say the Raiders versus the Rams. Definitely want to see if the Raiders, because they picking the Raiders like the Raiders are supposed to really be good this year. So I'm I keep feeling like they want us because they're in Vegas. They want the Raiders to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're being force fed. You know what I feel like I've been force fed for a few years now, but it's still drama there. You know, I heard, you know, I don't know the drama, but I'm hearing there's still some drama there. So I want to see that, you know, the Rams are the Rams. You know what I mean? So if the Raiders want to make their mark, they know they need to make a good, you know, do what they need to do against these Rams. So I want to see that. But definitely the Steelers versus the Browns. Let's see where, you know, everybody keep us just, you know, let's keep the Browns exactly where they at the bottom. So I just
I mean,
well, that's only going to happen if Deshaun Watson suspended multiple games, and then they'll probably be at the bottom. I mean, now of course, now the only thing now is they don't have Jarvis Landry no more because he just recently signed with the Saints. So So but now all they have is Amari Cooper, which is, you know, which he hasn't been any good since he left Oakland.
Gabe, I love Deshaun's name because it reminds me of somebody I know closely. But at the same time, he has not played in a while. And I know my Steelers got some new people. I get it. But we still got one of the best coaches in the league.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, and of course, you also got Brian Flores as your defensive coordinator too. So that's gonna be huge.
And did they get the new GM yet? I'm sorry, fellas, or the new president or something like that.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. But I really want to see. I always want to see that. Like right now, you know, the Bengals are the ones. You could say they're the kings of the division. I feel like the Ravens are the kings of the division, but it was so many shortcomings last season. I still think they're the face of the division. I just do. But I felt like we're going to see if my Steelers can get back up there, at least be in the top 2 or top 3. You know?
Yeah. You can't go wrong with Mitchell, Joe Montana, Trubisky at the Dogs. So
I smell something funny about that. I wonder if they've been training him behind the scenes, man.
What?
I don't know. It's something about that situation that I've been trying to stay away from. Yeah, I mean not Trubisky, but
you talking about Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett
starting week 1?
Nah.
What'd you say?
You believe he's gonna be starting week 1? Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
Y'all better play my nephew. Y'all stop playing. I'm telling y'all better play Mitchell, Joe Montana, Trubisky. If y'all know anything good about UNC quarterbacks, y'all better start that boy.
Oh, here you go with the biasness.
Of course, I caught this man Joe Montana the fourth quarter comeback in 2020.
Oh my God!
You can't shy away from that.
He always do that to me, man. I'll be like, "What you talking about?" And then he'll hit me with "Boom, ULC." Ooh, I'm like, "Oh, I should have known."
I mean, hey, Mitchell, Joe Montana, Trubisky. I mean,
he gonna keep saying it over and over.
Don't insult Mitchell Trubisky with Joe. With Joe Cool. That's just a no. You can't insult no you can't put him in the same category as no Joe Montana. That's a no.
Right. That's the bias and was he made that nickname because I don't know if you remember when the Bears in 2020. I think they started off the season. I think they had like 3 or 4 like straight like four quarter comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I gave him that moniker. So remember, once upon a time, Mitch Trubisky had multiple fourth quarter comebacks, almost reminiscent of a Joe Montana. So that's where the nickname was created. So I put lipstick on a pig, and she's a beauty queen.
Obviously, nah. You can't put them two in the same category. It's ain't even comparison.
He know it. That's why he laughing.
Yeah, right.
Ain't even comparison.
I put lipstick on a pig, and she won the beauty pageant. So
I think the one thing that they figured out, you have to have a decent secondary, especially if you're doing 18 games. I think that's important. So I'm happy that they got what they got.
Yep. So there's a few Thursday night football games. Obviously, I think the one that's, like I said, my bias is showing. We got, Washington goes to Soldier Field. Carson Wentz at the Dog. under the lights on Thursday night stage. Ron Rivera goes back to Chicago. Obviously, we know Ron Rivera used to play for the Bears. He was a part of that 85 Bears team. So he comes home. Hopefully, he'll give his former Boston McCaskies a loss on a Thursday night. Ravens versus the Buccaneers. Like I said, that's a great matchup. Also as well. Call me crazy, but I got this Jaguars and Jets thing. I think it's gonna be a little intriguing. A little Thursday night before Christmas matchup. Eggnog might be flowing in some people's homes, and so I think it's gonna be an interesting matchup. I mean, you look at Trevor Lawrence. Number 1 versus number 2 overall pick. I think we had that kind of last year as well too. So seeing those guys play and seeing Trevor Lawrence, in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And I think these two teams that I mentioned talked about a little bit earlier on a previous show. I think one of these teams will be playing meaningful football this time of year. Not saying that they're going to be leading their division, but I think there could be a team that could be playing for something. At this point, I mean, because it is really late in the season, so that'll be a really interesting game. So, the Thursday before Christmas, I think that game will not disappoint.
You might be playing for draft picks,
right?
More draft picks, possibly.
I'm gonna remember this. I can't wait till we do the divisions.
I'll clip it.
And I remember what he just said, and I'm like, hold up. Did you say one of them teams is most likely gonna be? You saying a wild card or something?
Oh no! I mean, playing meaningful football. So if you're thinking that that's week 16, so you've already played 15 games. So you might have a team that may be 7-8, or maybe 6-9, or something like that. No, these won't be 2 double-digit winning teams. No. Okay. But I think they'll be, especially in the South. I think especially with the Jaguars, they might get there potentially, and then also the Jets. I think the Jets are to me. I look at them. They're my, in the NBA we call it league pass team. They're my Sunday ticket team. They're a team I think that's gonna be really interesting to watch. So that's another thing to kind of to be of interest. And then the Cowboys and the Titans. That's gonna be the Thursday after Christmas. So that'll be the week after the Jets, the Jags, and the Jets. I want to see the December collapse of the Dallas Cowboys all over again. That's my favorite episode of December. The collapse of the Dallas Cowboys. So, and I think this is great. This is a striking blow. This would be the week before they come into hollow ground at FedEx. The week before that. So, we want to see this December collapse. We love to see it. Last Thursday night game of the calendar year, and then another chapter of the December collapse will happen in this game, especially they going to Tennessee on a cold night in December. I'll book it for a loss, but so let's talk about some Sunday night and some Monday night football games. So obviously. That's another one. We got a new broadcast team on Sunday night. Obviously, Mike Tirico and your boy Chris Collinsworth. Now, here's a guy. And then also shout out to our girl Maria Taylor, who's going to be the host of Football Night in America. Definitely huge shout out to her.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats to her. She well-deserved. Yes, indeed.
Exactly. Rachel Nichols somewhere punching the L.
But, yeah, she's beating her head against the wall, something like that.
Rachel Nichols is a commander, right?
And yeah, she DC. Yeah, she DC all the way. Oh yeah, I know for sure. Yeah, she's from DC. But I'm just saying, But she wasn't good enough to be in the NBA Finals. She got the hottest gig in America. Football Night in America. NBA Finals. Football Night in America. Punching L,
Yeah, she's holding that L right now,
big time. But you got the Sunday night, and then also we talked about the Monday Night Football team with Joe and Troy. I think that's going to be definitely really interesting. So Sunday night games, Monday Night Football games. Which ones are that you're looking forward to watching? What's your
Okay.
first, Gabe?
Okay. Well, for Sunday night, of course, I already mentioned Chiefs versus the Buccaneers. 50 Super Bowl 56 rematch. Then, of course, in Week 8, we got the Packers versus the Buffalo Bills, which I think is going to be a fantastic matchup. I mean, you got of course, both these teams are Super Bowl favorites. So, I mean, you got the upstart, Josh Allen. Of course, you got the veteran Aaron Rodgers. So this is going to be a nice matchup. Then, of course, I'm going to squeeze one in. I'm going to go with the Chargers and my 49ers. I actually think this is going to be a really good game. I mean, think about it. I mean, this could be actually a good defensive game because both these teams I expect to have really good defenses, and so it's going to be. So I think both Justin Herbert and Trey Lance may have a tough game ahead of them for each team. So this might come down to the defenses. Then I got the Chiefs versus the Broncos. Hey, this is must-see TV. I mean, Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson. I mean, chances are you might see a lot of points in this one. So it's going to be up to the defenses to come up with the stops, the stops down the stretch. And then I got Week 17. I got the battle for LA, the Rams versus the Chargers. So that's gonna be an excellent matchup. So that's for my Sunday night. Now for Monday night, of course, I already mentioned, Broncos versus Seahawks. Russell Wilson's return to Seattle. Of course, I got my Niners versus the Rams. I also got my Niners again versus the Cardinals. This one's gonna be in Mexico City, so that's gonna be a good one. And of course, that was Trey Lance's first start last year. Taking over for Jimmy when he was hurt, and he struggled in that one, but they still had chances. Then you got Week 15, the Rams and the Packers. I mean, possibly a preview of the NFC championship game. So, that's going to be a good one. And then, of course, Week 17, you got the Buffalo Bills versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, think about it. This right here is a battle of the young guns. These teams, this game could have implications as far as playoff positioning. And not only that, these two teams might actually see each other in the playoffs, possibly in the divisional round, possibly for the AFC Championship. I mean, you got the young guns, the future of the league, Josh Allen and Joe Burrow going at it. And then in Week 16, Chargers versus the Colts. I mean, that should be a good one. So those are my games for Sunday and Monday.
Yeah. Like I said, that's a good matchup with, like you said, the Chargers versus the 49ers. That's a Super Bowl 29, Super Bowl 29 rematch,
Yeah.
Stan Humphries isn't walking through that door. Natron Means not walking through that door. So
it didn't matter anyway.
Hey, right. Right. What you got, Mal, as far as your Monday night, Sunday night in football?
Got a lot of the games you said, Gabe. A lot of the games that you said. I got the Chiefs versus the Bucks. Let me explain something to you.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last year the Chiefs didn't. They had a good year, but pertaining to them, it really was not good. And I felt like Tyreek Hill. I said his name right, Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe he saved them a lot. He saved them. You know what I mean? He helped them with their success. And I don't know if they're going to still have the same success in offense like it was. We hadn't said that yet. But that's one of the reasons I want to watch them. You know what I mean? Because I felt like Mahomes was starting to get very arrogant. Things were really starting to go his way. So a lot of excuses being made from the time when the Bucs won the Super Bowl. They didn't have a line, COVID issues. And then I remember last year, Tyreek was putting them burners on where the defense couldn't catch him. And he's one of those special dudes that got that speed. So I want to see if they're going to be able to do the same thing without him. Because when I think of Mahomes, I think of the tight end, and I think of Hill. The Hill ain't there no more. So let's see if they're going to have the same success. I'm sure we probably say they will, but we'll see. But I'm saying Chief and the Bucks week October 2nd, week 4. I'm going to say week 17. Week 16, the Bucks versus the Cardinals. And then that was Sunday night. Monday night, I'm going to same games you said, Gabe, but the Rams versus the 49ers. 49ers versus the Cardinals. Raiders versus the Chiefs. But I'm going to go Week 8 Bengals versus the Browns. Let me see what that's going to be. Good on Monday night.
Oh yeah, that's the Halloween matchup. The
Yeah,
Battle
I want
of
to see.
Ohio.
I want to be a believer of the Bengals too, but I feel like they might not have been there if the Ravens wasn't dealing with so many injuries. That's just
Super Bowl
me.
hangover. Yep, Super Bowl hangover.
Man.
Yes, I am a victim of Tyreek Hill as well too. When he came to FedEx Field last season, so not fair.
He ain't there no more.
He ain't there no more. Yes. Sunday nights, like we talked about it earlier, Buffalo, the Rams. The one I'm really looking forward to, I know we talked about, you guys talked about Tampa Bay and Kansas City, but the one I really want to talk about is the Pats and the Raiders. That's week 15. That is teacher versus pupil, Josh McDaniels versus Bill Belichick. Just wondering how that reception will be, especially because I think this is going to be a game that could potentially, like we talked about down the line, can have playoff implications. So I wonder how Bill is going to teach, how he's going to treat his kind of one of the things where it's going to be, icy. Is it going to be like a Mangini versus, Mangini and Belichick, or Brian Flores versus Belichick? Like, all these guys. What's going to be the perception? What's going to be the reception after the game? So that's what I'm really looking forward to, and that's Sunday night game. Also, Tampa at Dallas. I think that's that week one. I think that's going to be a definitely interesting game. Tom Brady goes to Dallas, and I'm just ready for the myriad of excuses of why they lost. I'm just ready for all that. I'm just ready for all the excuses, and after we're sitting, outside, hopefully by a warm campfire after a 15-point win over Jacksonville, and then we see this game, and I just want to hear the myriad excuses and people becoming like radio silent on the internet as they lose to Tampa Bay. So,
I don't think this game's gonna be the same as last year, because my thing with Dallas is all they have is one healthy receiver. They got CeeDee Lamb's the only healthy receiver. Michael Gallup, we don't know when. He's gonna be healthy week 1. So outside of that, I don't know of any other receiver that scares anybody for the Cowboys. So I don't really think this matchup is going to be as good as last year's week 1. In my opinion,
well. I hope so too.
You think they're gonna get Odell?
Nah.
They're gonna get
what for? Odell's not going to be available to play until maybe later in the season or even playoffs.
Right.
Because remember, he tore his ACL in February.
Right.
Yeah.
And usually those ACLs usually take about 8 to 12 months of recovery. Right. So, getting Odell, I think for anybody, I think would be a waste of time.
Right. You're right. I forgot all about that. You're right, Gabe. You're right.
And then like we talked about Monday nights, like we talked about week 1, Broncos versus Seahawks. Week 10, obviously Washington at Philly. I was looking at like the House of Horrors when it comes to us on Monday Night Football. So we'll see what that happens. And this time, hopefully this will be a better trip to Philly instead of having a Garrett Gilbert situation in going against Philly like we did last year, from when our COVID quarterback caught COVID. So, so the rematch is on. Now we got a quarterback, because we would have beat them if Taylor Heineke was playing in that Monday Night Football game.
You are so humble this season. God, compared to last year when we was having these conversations, you did every dance. You pop locked. You did the cabbage patch, the Bart Simpson. You big head bounce. You did the Chinese typewriter.
2022. I'm get it back in blood. Serious, because everybody wanted to make me.
He was so arrogant last year. He was sitting back, had his hand cocked. He was like, division champs, yeah.
No, because everybody, these last the last 5 weeks of the season, everybody thought stuff was sweet, and you think that we're gonna beat y'all. We had Gary Gilbert as our quarterback. Of course, you was gonna beat us. You're the reason why you're in the playoffs because of us. Like seriously, come on now. Like this year, I want it back in blood. Like seriously. So this year a little different. When you coming off a 7-10 season, you think a little bit different. It's like his revenge. It's payback. I'm serious.
No, I just think
personal.
that you just got some iffy about Wentz. You ain't like you were last year with Fitzpatrick and Heineke. You got Wentz, and you like, oh my God, what are they doing? Right. Oh my God!
Hey, we had Jimmy ready for you. Could have sent him. We got to send you Jimmy.
Hey, it was supposed to be Russ. I'm still trying to figure out how y'all didn't get Russell Wilson. That was supposed to be Russ. Russ was going to sell the city, the DMV, all the way to North Carolina. It was Russell Wilson, like for real.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson would have had North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland. Yeah. I mean, DC, all wrapped up. I mean, you want to talk? I mean, FedEx Field would have been sold out.
Yeah, and that's game. I was like, I had hashtag come home Russ. And people laughed at me and was like, oh, that's funny. I mean, I was to a point I was getting desperate. I was getting ready to DM Sierra and be like, look, bring the family to DC, please.
I'll make TikToks and make your songs go platinum.
Please tell your husband to come to Washington D.C. We will treat him like we will treat him like royalty. We want the home.
All the crabs and mumble sauce you want.
Exactly. And even your Richmond favorites, we can bring it down to 95 for you.
Right.
He
got Carson Wentz. He was so hurt.
I would be too.
Right.
I would be too. If I was a Washington Commander fan, you didn't make the move for Russell Wilson. Like I said, we had Jimmy for you. We could have sent him off. Send us a second round pick or something like that.
Yeah. And Jimmy would have been interesting in DC. I think he would have been like he'd been very popular too because he's kind of a marketable guy as well. I can see him on the Easton's Motor. Remember, on the Easton's Motor commercial. Could you see him doing that, Maui? Like, well, your job show credit. Jimmy well, your job show credit.
He would have kept you competitive. Let's put it that way. You would have won some games. I mean,
I know we got to move on, but I know we was having a discussion when you got him. Do you think they're gonna let him go?
Who?
Jimmy Garoppolo? I think. I don't know. I think they're gonna find it. They're still trying to work on a trade partner for him. I mean, he can't be on the roster. I mean, it's just. You don't give him all those draft picks for Trey Lance. It's time to let him be the guy. I mean, keeping Jimmy. Sooner or later they're gonna move him. He's gonna get moved. It's not a question of if but when.
Right.
Yeah. And we got two others. We're gonna talk about. Let's talk about some holiday games. So we definitely got Thanksgiving and bro. I don't know if do you really you see the schedule leak Twitter page? Mm-hmm. It was a fake page, and they had all these matchups of like what teams are gonna play. It ended up being a fake site. But anyway, so we gotta talk about Thanksgiving game. So obviously, starting off, we got the Buffalo Bills going to Detroit. Then we got the Giants versus the Cowboys. And then we got the Patriots and the Vikings. Your thoughts on a Thursday night spread? What you got, Gabe?
I'll tell you this: if we see the Detroit Lions team that we saw last year, which I mean, even though they didn't win a lot of games, but they played hard. They were in a lot of these games. There's probably 4 or 5 of these games they should have won last year. Mm-hmm. So if we can see the same Detroit Lions team. And hopefully some improvements. I mean, Buffalo might have a fight on their hands. I don't see them winning the game, of course, but I think if Detroit can, Dan Campbell brought those boys to play every game. I mean, it wasn't like even though they were a bad team, they weren't getting blown out. I mean, they hung in a lot of games. They just didn't know how to finish. Right. As far as the Giants and the Cowboys go, I mean, I'm not. The Cowboys should win it, but like I said, the Giants did show some improvements, but I'm still not sold on Daniel Jones. Now, as far as the Vikings go, I mean, they now have a new coach, so I expect Kirk Cousins to, take some leaps and bounds because, I mean, they're the only challenge to the Packers right now. So I think every game, every game is going to count. So I kind of think the best matchup is probably going to be, the Pats and the Vikings because I think the Patriots should be better than last year, even though I don't see them winning this game versus the Vikings.
Yeah. What you got? Any thoughts on these games?
I mean, I put all of them from Thanksgiving. I thought all games was good. I just picked my favorite. But I just want to say, Kirk Cousins, you talk about patience. That boy, let me tell you, I wish I was his cousin. I'm like, boy, you raped the game. That boy, he done stretched the hell out of his career and got paid. Who would have ever thought that he'd have made as much money as he made? Chris, come on now. Come on, coach. Come on, coach. He was franchise tagged to the max. Yeah. And then look where he at. And they still gave him an extension. I was like, wow, man. Wow. So
they gave him an extension for subpar play. So I mean, he's basically stealing money from the organization. Yes.
He's been stealing it for years. That's what I'm saying. I'm serious, man. I'm serious doing it. But only game I put down was the Giants versus the Cowboys, of course, because it's division wise, and that's the game I'm gonna be really looking for. I don't know why, man. I like Jones as a quarterback. I hope that I want him to get a fair shot. I think he kind of got thrown to the wolves. But hopefully they could put something together. And then we definitely want to see how the Cowboys, every year, we keep being told that they're going to win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? But definitely want to see what the moves they make. Hey, if Bill Belichick get fired, you think that Jerry Jones go get him?
I don't think so. I don't think Belichick's going to go out.
Stephen Jones
I think he's going to vote for Sean Payton.
Yeah, me too. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, Sean Payton is there.
He waiting for Sean Payton.
But yeah, I definitely, that's the game that I'm going to be looking for because it's Thanksgiving, so I'm eating meat people. But I'm like, let me hurry up and go see what this game is because I'm sure it's in your division too, so I know I'm definitely gonna want to pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm actually glad that the Bills are back again on Thanksgiving. Like at least this time I'll be awake to see this matchup because when they played the Saints last year,
yeah, that was a snooze fest right there. That game was a snooze fest.
Yeah, that was a big snooze fest. This is gonna be an interesting game. The Bills and Lions think it's gonna be good. The Cowboys and the Giants, I think they just did that so the Cowboys can win on Thanksgiving. Honestly, it's just like.
Giants might spank them. Come on now.
I hope.
You never know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people thought the Cowboys should have beat the Raiders, and look what happened.
Right. Exactly. And then what ended up happening? Deshaun Jackson came out of nowhere and became the Cowboy killer once again. Mm-hmm. That was wild. That was a wild game last year. I was shocked too. And and then also the Patriots and the Vikings, like you said, that might probably be the best matchup because I think these other two games are kind of lopsided from this perspective because now we're sitting here in May thinking about this matchup because obviously we look at Bills as a Super Bowl contender versus Lions being a team that can be competitive but not making much headway. We look at the Cowboys as a team that could potentially win their division. Some, not me, but some. Against
I wouldn't pencil the Cowboys in just yet because I think
me neither.
The Eagles, what the Eagles did by making the moves that they made, I mean, I think they're coming for the Cowboys' head. this year.
But
and
it's
then
Thanksgiving.
right,
So
and that's
it's
the thing
always the start of the downfall.
of the Cowboys, and hopefully that
Right.
will happen again. And the Patriots and the Vikings, I think that's gonna be also another, a good game as well. That's one of those ones where I think if you're still awake at 8 o'clock in the evening after a hard day of eating, of binge eating, I think that'd be a matchup good enough to stay up for. So Christmas, like we talked about it earlier, Gabe, where I don't know, they're about to take over for the NBA. I know the NBA has a quintuple header, but the NFL has a triple header that will supersede any matchup that I see at this point. So we got the Packers and the Dolphins starting us off at 1:00. That's a Fox game. Then we got a Broncos and the Rams. And this one is on CBS and also on Nickelodeon. So this will be an interesting game. And then we got the Bucs and the Cardinals to end our night in Arizona against the Cardinals. Thoughts on Christmas Day?
Well, I mean, basically, I think it's Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. Broncos and Rams are definitely the matchup. I mean,
Christmas
like
Day.
I say,
It's Christmas Day.
Okay, yeah. So that's the matchup to watch, because basically what you have is basically Russell Wilson taking on an old division foe, because of course he saw the Rams twice a year as a Seahawks quarterback.
True.
And not only that, so I mean you got so that's why I think this is going to be an excellent matchup, because of the fact that Russell Wilson is no longer in the division, so we only have to see him maybe once every 4 years now instead of twice a year. So, so I think I like this matchup, and I think this is going to be a good defense. This could be a good defensive matchup as well, because I mean both these teams, is going to play very good defense. So I think this is the best. This is the best game of the Christmas Day games.
Okay.
Your thoughts?
I put all of them, but I like what you're saying. That I didn't put that one down, but I put the Bucks versus the Cards. But I'm gonna be looking out for that game too. But I put the Bucks in versus the Cards, both versus Arizona. We already know why the Bucks, Tom Brady, Super Bowl bust, and then the Cards. I just like their young team. I liked them last year. You know what I mean? I have no necessary things I got to tell you. I got to see how it's going to go, but I just think that's going to be one of those David and Goliath type of games, I guess you could say. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that if you are sleepy, that's going to be a game that's going to wake you up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, you could definitely have some fireworks in that one, because like I say, with Kyler Murray, I mean, DeAndre Hopkins will already be back from his suspension,
right?
So I mean. Now, of course, hopefully they don't fall way, too far behind,
right.
As far as getting the playoff position, because Hopkins is going to miss like the first 4 to 6 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Right.
So you have to see if they fall behind. But then you also got to remember now, can you actually trust the Cardinals? Because let's be honest. I mean, since Kingsbury's been their coach and Kyler Murray's been their quarterback. They start out good and then they crumble. Right. I mean, they're basically like the Cowboys of the NFC.
Right, but the reason is, that's the storyline of even a watcher. I feel the same thing about the Bills also. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the storyline, a reason why you will even want to watch. And if you're going up against, I don't know why did they beat the Bucks last year or something? I keep feeling like I seen a game and it was back to back or something. I don't know why. Am I tripping? I keep feeling like they played or something.
Year.
And I don't know if they played last year. I don't
know why I keep thinking that. Like, and I feel like the Cards was giving them a run or something. Something happened. But I hear what you're saying. But I think that's all part of Kyler's. What makes him so special is it's never going to be easy for him or Lamar. You know what I mean? Especially how they play. They're gonna have to play through injuries. How they play, you know what I mean? It's never going to be easy. So that's one of the reasons why I even want to watch them anyway. Everybody can be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, that's gonna be definitely curious of where Arizona's gonna be at because you look at the last 2 years where obviously in 2020, Kyler Murray missed the final 2 games of the season, and they
Mm-hmm.
kind of didn't make the playoffs. This year they made the playoffs.
He was
They
hurt.
backslid in there,
Right.
literally. They literally backslid in the playoffs after
Right.
having the great start, and then obviously kind of tailing off. And it's another one too where this kind of remind me I don't know if you remember the Colts versus the Cardinals matchup that Saturday before Christmas, where we thought Arizona they're gonna take care of business. Then that hot Indianapolis Colts team came cross country and beat them. It has that kind of feel like, as far as we all know, like you said, it's something about Arizona too. They're like the Dallas Cowboys of the West,
Right.
where December is not really their best matchup. I'm curious, and Aaron Rodgers coming to South Beach. I wonder, is it going to be a monsoon kind of day? I'm not the weatherman, but
Right.
I have a strange feeling like it's something about like Miami in December. Like it's always the most weird. They have the most weirdest, unpredictable weather. But even regardless of that, Aaron Rodgers versus Tua Tagovailoa on a Christmas, they get you started at 1:00 in the afternoon. I think that's going to definitely be a good matchup. That'll get us started. But I think obviously the Broncos and the Rams. And I think even from the Nickelodeon perspective, I think that'd be kind of interesting. That's a good matchup to have on Nickelodeon. Like I like the little Nickelodeon cast thing. I think that's really cool. I was hoping when we made the playoffs that year that we was gonna be on Nickelodeon, but obviously we didn't. That was the Saints and and then obviously, that's gonna be Christmas Day is gonna be interesting. Christmas Day is probably gonna definitely supersede the NFL. I mean the NBA. I definitely think it's more intrigue. Yeah, I think even last year was more intrigue when you had the Packers and the Browns. Even though the Browns really weren't playing for much, and your boy Baker Mayfield, crapped the bed. I think he had like 4 interceptions in that game.
Yeah, look atrocious.
Yeah,
Did he say Baker Mayfield's your boy?
He's somebody, boy.
He ain't mine.
Whatever. I told you from the get-go. Johnny Manziel. Y'all know he pissed. He's going to be a Commander quarterback. He coming.
We got our quarterbacks. We good.
Nah, he might end up in Seattle or something like that.
Yeah, I think he will be soon. But we got a quarterback. We got Carson Wentz. Then we drafted a quarterback that's probably going to be the starting quarterback in 2 years. So now we're good. We set on the quarterback for the foreseeable future. I put it that way.
Right.
We're good. we got a better version of Baker Mayfield. We got a more maligned, mature Baker Mayfield and Sam Howell. So we good.
Okay.
So so let's put a bow on this week's Couch Coach Live, man. Another great show. So we'll go around the horn, plug away social media and final thoughts. I'm gonna go with you first, Gabe. What you got?
Well, like I said, thank you again, Coach, for having me again. I mean, I really appreciate it. I enjoyed it tonight.
Yeah.
So you can find me, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, wherever you get your podcasts from. Of course, I'm on Twitter at GG Sports 13, and of course, you can follow my Facebook page at SportsTakes Galore with Gabe.
All
right. Appreciate it. What you got, Maui?
Oh man, great show, Gabe. Always a pleasure. I was really you're a 49er fan, right?
Of course.
That's who I was rolling with last year. A little disappointed, Jimmy G.
Yeah, we had the game. We should have been in the Super Bowl. That was our Super Bowl. But hey,
man, leave them porn stars alone, Jimmy G. Jeez.
Well, we won't be worried about that this year. Like I say, Trey's my guy this year. So hey.
But
and Debo will be in camp soon. We in camp real soon. So hey.
Yeah, man, great. But great show, man. Happy to be back. It's been April was rough for me, bruh. but I got the 2022. You know what I'm saying? Also, Deshaun Morgan, Facebook, DT Morgan 78 Instagram. And I want to say congratulations to my little brother. He just got his master's degree at Mississippi State yesterday. You know what I mean? Extremely proud, man. Extremely proud. He's a co-assistant coach for the Mississippi girls basketball team. He's already out there looking for a job. You know what I'm saying? So he could be a college coach. Big things coming. Very happy for him. Extremely proud. A lot of sacrifices Gabe to get him there, man, and he deserved it. Good dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
very
congratulations to your brother, man.
His best friend, two of his best friends is Cleveland Farrell for the Raiders, and Daryl Taylor for the Seahawks. That's his best friend. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, yeah, man, great show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely a huge shout out to your brother, man. Stark Vegas. Yeah.
Mom's out there now.
Real. Now. Yeah, Stark Vegas. Yeah, man. You should have went up there and talked to Sister Jean.
Sister Jean? I thought I wanted to, man. That was the plan, bro. But April was rough. It was like,
Yeah. Yo, yeah, man. Social media, Facebook, Twitter, under Couch Coach Live. Check out the podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, we're there. And also follow us on YouTube page. Hit a like, subscribe onto our YouTube page. And once again, another great show again, fellas. We did a great job as far as talking about the schedule release. Looking forward to what this NFL season will take place. And please be kind to the Washington Commanders. I don't want another 7-10 year.
Man, just sell the team to Kanye.
Man, Bezos. It's Bezos or nobody. Bezos.
I don't know. Well, Magic Johnson, I think he's trying to put in a bid to buy the Broncos. So
right.
You know, hey.
Yeah. I think Jeff Bezos probably gonna be next in line for us. I think
you just want Jeff Bezos.
Once the dust settles with everything that's going on, and I don't know, it's all this stuff. And that's another thing. I hope this investigation stuff just ends quickly and just let it just. That's the thing that's kind of frustrating.
It seems like it keeps getting worse.
It's a dark cloud.
I think before you know it, Dan Snyder's they're gonna make him. They're gonna push him out of there.
Yeah,
I mean, this is just not a look at the NFL. I mean, once this kind of thing. So sooner or later, I think they're gonna push Dan Snyder out of it.
But this is another case. Like I tell people, this is the privilege of you owning something. It's almost like they damn near gotta find just about anything to get you out of there. So,
like I said, they gonna do him like they did the Carolinas
Jared Richardson.
Jared Richardson. They sooner or later they're gonna push him out. They'll push Dan Snyder out of there.
It's a matter of time.
They try not to say it, but if you really pay attention, you know Jerry Jones' name is somewhere around a lot of this stuff. I've just heard his name a couple times about Roger Goodell, but you can't. If Dan Snyder's name is right there, you know Jerry Jones' name is somewhere else.
And that's why we like as far as the ownership and all that, because and the part of they don't want him to go rogue because he will go rogue, and you talk about Pandora box opening. Oh, the door be hinged off. It won't be no box.
It's getting there.
It'll be all over. It'll be all over the place, and everybody gonna be. It could be the floodgates.
Right.
Robert Smith, all these guys will all have multiple bites at the apple as far as NFL ownership potentially.
Right.
If this happens, because I definitely think he will go rogue, and skeletons will be coming out of closets. So, that's why I always say, like with him, he's always good for business. That's why it's on their end when it comes to their quote unquote country club. So yeah, but yeah, once again, another great show. We'll be back next week, And definitely appreciate you again, Gabe, for coming through tonight. And
thank you again for having me.
It's been this week's Couch Coach Live, man. We'll catch you guys next week, and we out.
You're welcome.
Peace.